old sports show. We're talking NFL Week 12 action. This is a pregame show. A little tailgate party. Little how you doing this morning? Little let's have some fun. Let's get ready for some foosball. Your boy is pumped, excited for today's game. Chiefs finally get some cupcake. We get some cupcake in our schedule, and I am here for it. Ready for a little bit of ease of action here. Kansas City Chiefs, of course, are playing the Carolina Panthers. Probably a bottom 3 team in the NFL. I don't know how the Chiefs got lucky enough to get something like that on their schedule. If you want to blame the refs, that's one thing, but I'm blaming this kind of cupcake schedule we've had. Hey, we got Trey. Trey in the house. Let's go. Good morning, sir. Nice to see you. Finally connected on one. And D1 Detroit. Yo. Back to you, bro. I'm using the YouTube app, so I can't post comments on the videos like we normally do on Wednesday nights. But, yeah, Trey said he finally caught you live. It's been a few weeks. How you doing? How's your team winning? How we getting it in? The Chiefs finally had their first little loss. We finally had the taste of defeat that pretty much every team has missed. I've missed like 3 to 5. I know it's been a minute, but we don't forget you. Now you've been active. It's not like you may have missed the lives, but we've seen you touch in. So we appreciate you. We're excited to have you back. Catch it. I did it slightly late today. I almost forgot. I was trying to think of a video to film, and I was like, man, I should be actually doing my tailgate show right now. Sometimes I get busy. Work's been crazy right now, so it gets crazy out here. We got some upsets this week, though, folks. We got some dogs that are going to win this game. If you look at the betting line for like what people are betting, there's only one or two games that are not just completely lopsided. And that was based off Wednesday. Let's look at them today. 100% of the public is betting Kansas City to beat the Panthers. 100% of the public is betting the Commanders to beat Dallas. Houston versus Tennessee has all of 5% betting Tennessee. Browns and Steelers was crazy. Yeah, it's like the exact definition of what this week is about to be. The Browns and Steelers was nuts, especially that snow. Like to see the game start with no snow, and then, as it progresses, just gets covered. And look, the Steelers are odds-on favorite to win that game. That was another one where it's like everybody's betting the Steelers. Then you're going to see a lot of that today. Everybody is betting the obvious winners. We got a lot of landslide victories. Can I have a blue wrench for a bean? I don't even know what that means, green dude. You're speaking Chinese to me, bro. We're talking football. I don't know what a blue wrench is. That's kind of crazy. Let's see. Let's take another look at this. Like the Tampa Bay Giants game, 92 to 8%. But that one should be, right? If we look at that game, like Mike Evans is back for Tampa Bay. New York Giants are official tank mode. We have a couple of teams officially tanking. He's a troll, I think. Yeah, it might be. I'm not sure what a blue wrench is. Yeah. I had another. Oh, I gotta remember to clip it. I think it was last week. I had like the master troll. They were real good. It caught me like I was lucky to catch it fast enough, but it's a tough one. D1 Detroit wants to know Colts versus Lions. Who do you got? This is one of those games that has upset potential. Okay, well, this is another one. Let's look at the percentages here. 95% of the public is betting Detroit. as they should, right? Everything tells you Detroit. Better coach, better quarterback, better offense. Like there's no part of the Colts that you can point to and say that's a better unit, right? But but the Colts are those upset type team. The Colts magically doesn't make no sense. Doesn't make no sense why the Colts can compete. It doesn't. Like Lions, right? That is the obvious choice. That is what everyone is picking. I'm picking them. I've been on Dan Campbell's Lions turnaround bandwagon since Dan Campbell started coaching. It took me about 4 weeks to see how his team was doing, and I was immediately on the bandwagon. You can check the tapes. They were still losing football games, and I was the first one saying these are closer than it looks. The Lions are about to turn the corner, and next thing you know, you have everyone picking the Lions to be successful. And look at them; they are successful, right? You can't. Jared Goff has had a pretty interesting season. If you look at Jared Goff's season, like his completion percentage is off the charts right now, right? But he still has games where he throws 5 interceptions, right? And nobody's ever won MVP if they've had a season where they threw 4 interceptions, right? And he done but he's had a MVP like season, right? Like the Lions are just clicking on all cylinders. There's nothing that says the Colts could win, but we do see 5% of the public betting the Colts, and I think that's just the upset mentality. There's going to be so many of them this week. Okay, let me find what game is the public undecided on. The public is undecided on Arizona versus Seattle. Let's talk about that game. Because like Arizona versus Seattle is the only one that's close to a 50-50. The Green Bay versus San Francisco is like a 60-40, slightly less than that, by the way. Slightly less. And Philadelphia versus the Rams is like an 80-20 split, and that's pretty good. That's actually decent. It's close to what the Baltimore Chargers game is, like a 75-25 split. Like it's crazy what we're seeing. Lions are my number one team of the league. I don't see it, bro. I don't see it. I understand why you're there. I understand why you're there. It's just not me. Well, you see what it is. You see what it could. You can call it Homer. You can call it Homerism, whatever you want. But I still think the team to beat is Kansas City, even after losing to the Bills. Look, the defense gets a stop there and doesn't allow that last run by Josh Allen to get that touchdown to seal the game. The Chiefs win that game. They would have had all the time in the world. They would have got it. It's all right. Andy Reid's not going to use his playbook against the Bills in a Week 11 game. Like what? For what? For what? We're going to play you again. Chiefs barely win all their games. That is true. That is true. But that's Andy Reid's style of coaching. So he doesn't really go out and embarrass teams unless he has a reason to embarrass them. His whole thing is why put that on tape? Why am I showing you the deluxe playoff caliber menu when this is a non-playoff game? The Chiefs have already basically locked up a playoff spot, right? Even if they didn't win the division, they pretty much locked in a wild card spot at this point. Like what are you playing for besides home field advantage at this point? That's the only thing we're going. Said let's go Rams. Yeah, Rams, I think that one has a lot of upset potential. Only 20% of the public is betting the Rams. And I think you're underrating what the Rams team is. Look, Philadelphia is the team that always gets underrated. Even when they went to the Super Bowl that year versus the Kansas City Chiefs, they had like a 9-0 run. Where like every week, no one like we kept putting them in the top 7. We do like the top 7 teams of the week, and every week it would be like, all right, Philly's number 2 or 3, even though they're their only undefeated team. Like that's just one of those teams that gets a lot of disrespect. But I do believe the Rams are also kind of in that category. I like the Rams to be able to win on Sunday Night Football in LA. Like I like that. I like it. I can deal with it. I'm a Rams fan. There ain't nothing wrong with that. I won't make fun of you. It's 2024. You're allowed to be whatever you want. But yeah, the Rams are a legit team. Like they have a lot of offensive weapons. They've got one of the last remaining quarterbacks that actually have a ring. Hey, shout out to Bills fans. We're talking about championships right now. So you got to hold on a few minutes. I know you're not in this conversation. But Matt Stafford is one of those few quarterbacks not named Patrick Mahomes that actually has a ring on his finger. Jalen Hurts doesn't. But I think Jalen Hurts often doesn't get put in like that elite status quarterback, even though if you look at his record, all he really does is win. Like Jalen Hurts has put together quite a resume for himself. One of those guys that just secretly, can do a lot for a football team with his arm and his legs. Like it's pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. I like those old Rams. They're not too bad. I think they can win that game. They really, really can. Next, we have the Patriots Dolphins. This is another one. 92%. Stop crying. Why would I cry, bro? We're talking about championship rings, and you talk about crying. You want to talk about crying? You're crying right now because you win 4 times and couldn't win once. And now you're stuck with a franchise that has a coach-quarterback combination that historically says has been together so long and not sniffed a Super Bowl that they will never sniff a Super Bowl. Look, you're out here hanging another banner for a regular season win. And you want to talk about crying. That's hilarious. That's a Bills fan for you. Where's those banners at, bro? You want to talk about crying? Let's talk about banners. Let's talk about a little look, making the Super Bowl. Let's give it about 13 seconds to realize what we're really talking about here. "13 seconds, not once, but twice. Because it's happened to you more than once by the Kansas City Chiefs. More than once. The past can't help you today, and today makes no different from yesterday. The past ain't nothing. We'll talk about this season. We'll talk about this season when you have to come to Arrowhead again, when you have to go to Arrowhead again to watch the Kansas City Chiefs make another trip to the Super Bowl because Josh Allen can't hang a single jockstrap to Pat Mahomes. Andy Reid is obviously the superior coach in the situation. Like, you talking about can't get past today. What are you talking about? Are you still we want a regular season game? Is that what you're doing here? It's comical at this point. The definition of stupidity, according to Albert Einstein, is doing the same thing that doesn't work over and over again and expecting a different result. That's what old Albert Einstein said. You telling me you're better than Albert Einstein? Like we haven't figured. Look, I've been to Buffalo. Been there. I get it. You're no Einstein. I get it. That's not a guy that you think about often. And let's be honest, if it wasn't for Niagara Falls, y'all wouldn't even have an airport. Nobody would go to Buffalo. But, y'all are lucky to be located next to a beautiful wonder of the world where people want to go and travel and see. And by the way, the Canadian side is better. Like you've been to, the definition of Buffalo, go to Niagara Falls. You'll see it. The Buffalo side, boo-boo. And you don't even want to stop in Buffalo. Just drive through. There's nothing to stop for. What are you stopping for? Look at some buildings that should have been torn down 125 years ago. Is that what we're doing? Look, there's a reason they crash through their tables every week. It's because they don't care about their shit in Buffalo. All right? Let's just call a spade a spade. Patrick Mahomes and Kelsey has gone Hollywood. They're not the same. Gone Hollywood this year, you think they've gone Hollywood? This year, you think they've gone Hollywood? They weren't filming commercials last year? Like, we ain't seen State Farm, Patrick Mahomes, for the last couple of years. We ain't seen that, right? We ain't seen that Hollywood, right? Travis Kelce ain't had a little, the number one sports podcast for for last year? Obviously gone Hollywood. Wasn't he dating? When did he start dating Taylor? When was that? I don't even remember. Maybe it was this year. I thought it was last season. I don't even know. I'm not from Buffalo, so I don't care. Well, look, congratulate you for not being from that poop hole. That is an accomplishment in life. Many Buffaloians, nobody moves to Buffalo. You know what I mean? So it's just people that move out. No. So do you think it's finally this year for Buffalo? The only difference between Josh Allen and not winning Super Bowls and Mahomes is Mahomes has a defense that didn't choke in the playoffs. Other than that, Josh Allen is a better quarterback. Oh, so you think Pat Mahomes has always had an elite defense, and Josh Allen has never had. Josh Allen hasn't had a defense. You telling me in the 6 years that Josh Allen has been a quarterback, the Bills have not had a top 10 defense in any of those years? You're trying to tell me I can't point to seasons where Josh Allen absolutely had a superior defense to what Pat Mahomes had. You don't want me to point to the Bob Sutton years with Pat Mahomes and the suspect defenses that they were putting together and the transition that it took to get that defense together, because they had to draft it. They did not sign very many people to that defense historically. And let's not skip over that Josh Allen was drafted to a playoff-ready team, right? The Buffalo Bills were making the playoffs with Tyrod Taylor when Josh Allen was drafted. Guess what happened next? Guess what happened when he took over a playoff-ready team? Guess what happened? Didn't make the playoffs. Tell me when Pat Mahomes was a quarterback and didn't make the playoffs. You want to talk about Josh Allen? You want to talk about Josh Allen being the better quarterback? Let's talk about how Josh Allen needed Stephon Diggs to come and be captain, save a hoe to turn Josh Allen's career back into something, because the Bills were boo-boo. Josh Allen putting us in a lead to beat you guys. The defense can't hold water. And you know what Pat Mahomes and Andy Reid does to combat that? You know what they've done to combat that. And it's the largest part of the success for the Kansas City Chiefs this year. It's the subject of time of possession. The little stat that has a heavy determination in whether a team is going to win a game or lose a game. Time of possession. That little key stat that people like to choose to ignore. It's the little stat that people like to ignore. You see, it is possible for a quarterback to also play defense. It's a little known fact. It's something that football fans like to ignore. They like to ignore the ability to keep the other team off the field. What happens when you don't keep the other team off the field? The superior quarterback has the opportunity to take 13 seconds, and I think the next time he did it against you, it was like 12 or 11, even slightly less time than it took, and still got it done. No, shout out to Trey. I'll catch you on the next one. Let's hit these comments real quick. Pat Mahomes took over a playoff-ready team from Alex Smith. What are you talking about? Walking onto the team with Andy Reid as your head coach. Josh Allen did the same thing and didn't make the playoffs. That's what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm talking about. And that team was able to make it with Tyrod Taylor, who is even less of a quarterback than Alex Smith was, by a country mile. Josh Allen went to on just as good of a team, in theory, on paper, except for you look at the advantages like coaching, which is why you continue to lose when it matters. You celebrate barely beating the Chiefs in a regular season game. You're out here celebrating beating the Kansas City Chiefs. And then watching an actual playbook that Andy Reid uses when a game actually matters, and every time you see the same result. That's what we're talking about. Pat Mahomes, Bills fans love to talk about how Pat Mahomes took over a team that was already good, but like to completely ignore Josh Allen had the same exact formula and failed. Ignore that. But keep thinking somehow, some way, Josh Allen is the superior quarterback, even though he doesn't have 3 rings. He hasn't been to 4 Super Bowls. He's never even sniffed a Super Bowl. No one's ever even called him a Super Bowl favorite. How about that? How about that? Chiefs are overrated. Go Lions. How am I talking to teams that have never won a Super Bowl? Never even won a Super Bowl. Like one of them went 4 times in a row, still couldn't get it done. And we're talking about the Chiefs ain't that. We want to point to banners. Do I need to go inside and start grabbing my flags, my little banners that I got hanging in my little man room? Is that what I need to do? Is that what we're doing today? What do you think the results would have been if Josh Allen had an offensive head coach like Andy Reid? This kid kicks butt and went through 2 offensive coordinators. What do I think would happen? What do I think would happen if Josh Allen had Andy Reid? I think we would have Donovan McNabb. We've seen that combination before. Pat Mahomes would be on a different team winning championships. That's what I think would happen. I think we've seen Andy Reid with legitimate quarterbacks fall short. You ain't seen that before? And all of a sudden, And all of a sudden, it went from the Bills are better to what happens if Josh Allen had that formula? Hmm? Hmm? See, the problem is everyone wants to say it's just Andy Reid, and that's true for a part of the plays, right? I see where you're coming from. Let's talk about it. He's got a great way of. There's no better offensive mind in football right now than Andy Reid. However, you're ignoring what Pat Mahomes is and does. What happens when the play breaks down? What happens when you've got 13 seconds left? What happens when you need to make that throw? Let's not forget, Pat Mahomes in college was doing what, like 700-yard games, 5,000-yard seasons in college? People like to pretend that Pat Mahomes wasn't balling out. Why do you think Brett Veach was like, holy cow, 700 yards in a game? And that's kind of things Pat Mahomes was doing. His sophomore year, he took us to the playoffs with a less superior team and lost in the first round against the Texans. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that rookie year, though. What happened there? Let's talk about it. When he took over a playoff team, what happened? Outside of the barbecue, Kansas City is trash. Your stadium is old, and you still have tumbleweeds blowing around in the streets. All right. First of all, you did get the barbecue right. So at least I feel like you have some sort of knowledge, right? You've got the basics right. There's a lot of barbecue there. You can make fun of the old stadium, but it is the loudest stadium in the NFL for an outside venue. Look, the Buffalo Bills, I'll give it to the fans. Not every franchise's fans know how to tailgate. They don't know how to pregame a football game. And the Bills fans do, just like the Kansas City fans do. So I'll give you Buffalo that. Now, I ain't never seen a tumbleweed in my life in Kansas City. I did move away, so there is like some parts of it you can make fun of, right? Like I've lived there for decades. I'm a mile from the beach right now. That's where I'm at currently. But I do understand what you're saying. But you got the barbecue part right. How many championships did Mahomes win in college without Andy Reid? College didn't really have a playoff football system either. Like let's be honest. And it's just what do we? There's one team, and there's also like levels to college football, right? So, are we really calling Texas Tech like an elite football school? Is that what we're trying to do now? Is that what we're trying to do? And look, we can't discount Andy Reid. I guarantee you will lose to Carolina today. That's it. Come on, bro. You're not doing that. You gotta. We'll do a sub bet. Yeah, I'll sub to you. You got to sub to me if Carolina wins or loses today, because that feels like a very lopsided a bet there. I'm trying to remember if I got a Josh Allen rookie card or not. I might have to dust it off, mail it out, and somehow, someway you nail that pick. Because look, I understand the Bills have lost to easy teams in their life, but the Chiefs ain't losing to Carolina today, bro. That ain't happening. Let's look at this, because this is there's a lot of like high percentage betting favorites this week. But Kansas City is one of the few of them that's truly 100% of the public is betting Kansas City to win. 100% of the public. There's no one in God's green earth that's picking the Carolina money line. Super Bowl predictions. Hey, Preseason, I think I'm looking pretty good. Looking pretty good. I have the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Detroit Lions. My co-host, that's usually here on Wednesday nights, has the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Green Bay Packers. So that's the show's Super Bowl predictions. What are your guys' Super Bowl predictions? I want to hear your takes. You can check the tape. I do know these. I do know. I don't always get the winner right, but I do know the prediction. Chiefs line. Hey. And what killed me about the Chiefs line pick is when I made it, I thought I was being bold. I didn't think people were going to be picking the Lions. Like I thought it was going to be more of like, look at this. And I've seen a lot of people pick the same combination. So it made me be like, oh, well, maybe not so bold, but it should be right. Look, I'm not saying the NFL's rigged. I'm not. I don't think it's rigged. I don't think the NFL's rigged at all. But if it was, right? If it was, you got to write storylines like WWE stuff, right? That's what we think's happening here. We're writing little storylines. Jared Goff is the only quarterback that Pat Mahomes has never beat. Like you can convince people that the Lions have a chance to beat the Chiefs. Look, right today, the Lions might even be favored to win, right? We've seen this. The Lions might be favored to win. Even. Like you could even go that far. You could even take that leap. We've seen it. Chiefs versus 49ers. 49ers favored. Both times? Chiefs versus Eagles. Eagles favored. Chiefs win that one. Chiefs versus Buccaneers. Buccaneers favored. Buccaneers win. So that, take that what you want. 3 out of 4 times the Chiefs have won, underdogs every game. Somehow, some way, won't be the team that will win. You got Jared Goff, the guy that they magically can't beat. And an offense, a great team all around them. Let's be honest, blowing out teams 40, 50 points every game. Hey, Bills, I didn't get your Super Bowl pick either. You need to drop that one. I'm sure it's going to involve the Bills somehow, some way. Unless you're picking the Ravens. You picking the Ravens? You're probably picking the Ravens and the 49ers. That's going to be my guess. But there's a lot of storyline there. Detroit, the Cinderella story. Like, I made fun of Buffalo earlier, but let's not be mistaken. The biggest shithole of a city in America that has a football team has to be Detroit. What's a worse city than Detroit? Like, I've been once and will never, I'd have to make some serious money to go to Detroit. Nobody goes to Detroit on vacation. That doesn't exist. Dear Lordy Lordy. So you get that Cinderella story, right? And you've got a team that on paper can win, and somehow, some way, Pat Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs do what they do. They Cinderella up in three-peat. Because, look, Pat Mahomes has lost the head-to-head argument with Tom Brady unless he puts up, an additional ring, maybe 2. He might need to have 2 more than Tom Brady just because he lost head-to-head a couple times. Especially not to, let's call it did win was the regular season. It was a blowout. It was an absolute blowout, but it showed health. It showed the reason health matters, why depth matters, because what happened to the Super Bowl? The Chiefs go from having 3 starting offensive linemen to 0. 0 starting offensive linemen, and magically, you can't do anything. Magically, Mahomes has 500 running yards in the game, not rushing yards. That's how many yards he had to run around in circles trying to scramble for his life. I mean, he had a top 100 play that was an incompletion. It was an incompletion, and everybody knows the play because it's the play where he's sideways, like against the ground, and he's throwing the ball. You know, he's a foot off the ground, throwing the ball, about to land. That was an incompletion, by the way. Like, that's how great of a deal it is. And Uncle Bill said I'm funny. He's going to subscribe. Shout out to that, and shout out for the likes and all that stuff. You know, we're a small channel growing, and we're growing rapidly. The growth has been crazy. It's been nuts to even think about. So we really appreciate everybody that does any kind of interaction, because that's telling YouTube that we're doing something decent, right? We're being at least a smidge bit of entertaining to somebody, you know? And if you look at our picks, you know, you bet our picks follow along. You know, we do them for free. We never charge for a bet, which I always thought was crazy. You'll have a lot of these YouTube channels or these pick gurus that want to talk football, and all they really want to do is sell you on their picks. We'll give you early access, you know, and crazy stuff like this. And we're like, that's no reason, right? Look, if I'm putting money in my pocket, I'm trying to put money in yours, right? So we would never charge for picks. And that's what we give to you on our Wednesday night show. You know, we try to give it to you as early possible. And on the Tailgate show, we go over it again because most of the bets are already in. We got 3 hours from kickoff. This is, you know, after the show is usually when I make my bets, because that's when you want to know when everybody else is already doing it. Your dog is a Bills fan, bro. He hates you too. No, actually, I think he's barking at a Bills fan, if you want to know the truth. You know, I'm in Florida, so we get a lot of Northeastern fans here. So he's either probably a Bills or a Patriots fan. One of the two. But he's a good neighbor, so I don't know why he's barking.
Okay.
He's a hound dog. He makes more noise than anything I know what to do with. They say if dogs could talk, I'd still tell him to shut up, because that dog talks too much. He's a good dog, so can't complain. Let's go over these picks real quick. Let's hit our picks of the week. If you guys want to follow along, give me who you think is going to win. That'll be a fun way to go. We got the Chiefs Panthers early on, 1:00 games. Obvious favorites, Chiefs, 11-point spread. I don't like the point spread. The Chiefs never win by 11 points. It's just not what Andy Reid does. He knows he can beat the Panthers. This isn't a lot of effort to beating the Panthers. Bottom 3 team. The only teams worse than the Panthers, they're teams that are just obviously tanking. Like, if you go to the Jets no longer care. They're done. If you go to the Raiders, they gave up. The Giants are in official tank mode. And look, the Raiders have been on this train a couple weeks ahead of time. The Jets, like, people were shocked that they lost last week, and I was like, they gave up. They gave up. When they traded Mike Williams away, the writing was on the wall that the season was done. They were done. When you're trading away your wide receiver core, you're not thinking playoffs. You're not thinking, well, this might be what I'm doing next. Next, we have the Titans versus the Texans. This is another one with a 7.5-point spread. Like it's obvious Texans, right? 5% of the public is believing the Titans. I don't know why. I don't know why. Like it's just this is a cakewalk for the Texans, right? Look at like it's trashes Kelsey. Hey, I like that one. That's a good line. I ain't heard that one before. That's pretty good. Creative. Cruising through space. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. You would spell that wrong. That does check out. Yeah. That makes complete sense. Buccaneers versus Giants. And this is another one. The Giants, as a 6 point spread, actually feels very safe in this game. I feel very safe with the Buccaneers winning by more than 6, with the Giants relying on their third string quarterback, DeVito, the old Italian stallion, the miracle boy from the Giants. The mob called in, got another favor, got the boy back in the game, and he's going to play the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers are getting Mike Evans back. This is cakewalk for Tampa. I like it. Like I really like this 6 points here. Now this one could be a little upset potential. This isn't a guaranteed game. Patriots versus Dolphins. Right? Patriots versus Dolphins. Look, there's a cold front going through Florida. This isn't this hot 90-degree day for the Patriots team versus the Dolphins. It's probably going to be like 60 down in Miami, maybe 70. Look, that's going to be warm going from Boston to Detroit or Miami, right? That's not something to ignore. But it's not like a game that's just going to blow them away with heat. They're lucky a cold front came through, or so it would be closer to like an 80-degree day. The Patriots, for whatever reason, win games like this. These divisional games are not, this is one of the potential ones I would stay away from betting. Miami is a 7.5 point favorite. What percentage? What do we got for Miami? Who is betting? 8% is betting the Patriots. It's a real low percent. Over under 46.5. Seems like a lot of points on the board there. Seems like 7.5 is a lot. You might just take the Patriots and take that 7.5. Like say you got to beat me by that 7.5. This might be closer. The Dolphins could win this game for no reason at all. Right? They still have some tough games on their matchup. They're going to end up finishing like 8-9, 9, or you know what I mean? It's just not going to be maybe 9-8 if they're lucky. And it's just they have at least 2 or 3 more losses on their season. And I don't know if that's going to be enough. I don't know if that's going to be enough to make the playoffs. It's going to be real close. So these games they're winning, they're just winning to ruin their draft picks, realistically. And I don't think the Patriots are in official tank mode just yet, so this could be one of the upset games. So let's circle this one. Next upset game is the Lions Colts. Same point spread, actually, 7.5. I wonder if that's like a signal for us. I might bet all these 7.5 point spreads on the opposite teams, Lions, Colts. Because on paper, look, this is another one. On paper, even more so. Even more than the Dolphins over the Patriots, I think on paper, the Lions should beat the Colts by more than 7.5. It just has upset potential written all over it. The Colts win games like this for no reason. No reason at all. It doesn't make logical sense. And I absolutely hate it. They're the upset team. That's the whole formula of the Colts. Win games that they're not supposed to. And it's right here in front of us. Next up, Vikings versus Bears, 3.5 points. Vikings only getting 3.5 points on the road versus the Bears. And who's betting the Bears? 8% of the public? Do the Bears upset today? Do the Bears upset today? They're trying to get people to bet these games. It feels like they're trying to get people to bet the Lions with only a 7.5. Because if I was an odds maker on paper, I think I'd want 10 points, Lions versus Colts, especially the way the Lions have been blowing out bad teams. Because on paper, it suggests that 7.5 points should be fair. The Vikings should be clear with 3.5. Caleb Williams really ain't even that dude. Really ain't even that guy. Not a Caleb Williams fan. Next, we got Broncos versus Raiders. This is another one. Broncos should beat the Raiders. The only game, the Raiders are in dumpster fire trash mode, but if they're going to win a game, right, they want to win versus the Broncos. They want to win against the Chiefs. They want to win against the Chargers. That's how the Raiders are operated, right? There was one season, the only games they won 6 games one year. And the only games they won were the divisional games. The only teams they beat were the Chiefs, Broncos, and Chargers. Like, they were 6-10, and that's the only games they won. Like, it was crazy to think about. Now, this next game is the only 50-50 coin flip game of the week. And that's Cardinals Seahawks. 1 point favorites on the road, Cardinals. Money line even, 110 either way. I like the Cardinals. I know dude with the beard was also split. This is a game we're split on. He went Seahawks. I do hate the Seahawks. That could be a smidge portion of my pick. However, I think the Cardinals, every time the Cardinals gets faded by the public, they win. They've done it all season long. And I've been dunking on them with it. It has been like the one thing Vegas has been like gifting to me is Cardinals underdogs. Now, they're not underdogs in this week, according to Vegas, which does make me a little nervous. If the point spread was switched, I'd feel so much better about my Cardinals pick. But seeing the public being slightly in favor of the Seahawks make me feel more comfortable about the Cardinals. Now, this is a tight one, 52-48, so it's real tight. Vegas don't mind. I mean, there might be some last-minute action that moves it in favor of one or the other. People are starting to catch on to these Cardinals. Winning the NFC West, by the way, they're in first place. They win this game, and they might just win the NFC West. This is a big game. This 425 Cardinals-Seahawks game is huge for the NFC West. And so is this 49ers-Packers game, where the Packers are 5.5 point favorites. And this is a must-win game for the Niners, currently sitting at 5-5. Seahawks sitting at 5-5. Rams are sitting at 5-5. Cardinals 6-4. Like, this NFC West is tight. Cardinals win this game, they move on to 7-4, clear a gap. Packers are favored and everybody else is favored to lose. So all of a sudden, you've got like a 3-game lead, and there's not that many games left in the season. There's not that many games left in the season to be playing catch up. You're all of a sudden in the Cardinals need to start losing every game situation if you're one of these NFC West teams. It gets real serious real quick. The 49ers can win. There's another one, 37% of the public betting the 49ers to beat Green Bay. It is in Green Bay. which is real rough on the 49ers. And the Packers, I think the Packers should win too. I truly do. But I think I might be betting the 49ers here because there's got to be upsets. There's got to be upsets this week. There's upsets written all over these boards. There's got to be like 4 of them, 4 or 5. I think the Rams versus Eagles could be an upset game. The public is 80-20, picking the Eagles over the Rams. The Rams 3-point favorites on the road. The Rams are a solid football team. They can win this game. Makes me feel better about the upset potential when I know they have a better possibility of winning the game. Like we do with the 49ers versus the Packers. The Rams over Eagles is a similar situation. And I think we might see just Chargers versus Ravens. Like if that's another almost 80-20 situation. I feel like you might play upset all Sunday afternoon and night games. Like that might be a parlay in itself. And I got to put a quotation around upset because the Cardinals are favored. But I do kind of like this parlay of Cardinals, 49ers, Rams. Like that just seems like that might just hit. Just like a way to bam, bam, bam you on Sunday. Because there's so many of there's no way Vegas is allowing all these favorites. I refuse to believe it. The Ravens Chargers is Monday night, so that might be the cherry on top on the week. And look, this is a brotherhood matchup. So Eagles Rams is Sunday night. Yeah, so I like that for the end of the Sunday, and then you carry that on over to Monday. Look, the Ravens kind of need this win. Like both teams kind of need this win. I think the Ravens should win. They're a better team, slightly better coached. Like if I'm going to pick one of the brothers, that's the one I want. Like let's be honest. Let's get the one that's actually won a Super Bowl. If we're going to pick one. In big trust, I trust, but we got upsets this week, folks. Big upsets. And that's going to be your little tailgate show for the NFL Sunday. I hope y'all enjoy it. Hope you get your picks in. Hope your team wins, unless you're a Carolina fan. Oh, you're back, Trey? I'm just heading out, too, bro. I'm just heading out. Wrapping it up. When your boy's solo, I'm only good for about an hour. After that, I got to tap out. I see a lot of these, people don't understand. I see a lot of these streamers that be doing 6-hour streams by themselves and stuff, and I'm just like, you're crazy, bro. Like, this is nuts. Yeah, but hey, I appreciate you double dipping, coming back around, bro. And I'm glad we got to tap in again. Like, that was pretty cool. It's been a minute. I hope you are doing great and stuff like that too, bro. Like, it's nice to see you around. But I am going to wrap it up. I think my kid has finally woken up from his slumber, and we got to hang out before football kicks off. So I'll catch you next time. We'll be live Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern, if you're able to. Probably 9:15, maybe 9:30. We're usually late. We always say 9 o'clock, and people have gotten mad because we're 20 minutes late. But usually we get together at 9 o'clock, and we BS for a few minutes, talk about life and whatnot, because we're friends that live in different places now. So, that always takes, solid 15. And so it takes us a little bit to get it kicking. We'll catch you next time, Trey. Take it easy, bro. And everybody else, thanks for watching.